Okay, this is Sister Wives, Season 15, Episode 3, Different Wives, Different Rules. You usually have something snarky to say right off the top, so...
Oh wait, I'm saving it.
So if you normally watch Sister Wives and you go, oh, so much happens every episode, it's like bam, 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 I just wish they would slow down, this is the episode for you. Because literally nothing happened.
Well, that's not true. Cody totally picks on his kids.
Okay, we will get to that. We will get to that part. But in general, it's like, remember that conversation that took half the episode last time, the Zoom conversation? It's like that conversation is an entire episode. So each home, so I guess what they decided was each home will quarantine separate, but Cody will move through the houses. But he's already admitted he's not going to Mary's. And Janelle said, you shouldn't come to my house. So there's really no reason, if he's moving between Christine and Robin's, there's no reason they shouldn't be in the same pod.
Poor Cody, just, you know, getting passed around like a piece of meat.
I know, he's just really... So anyway, and they're filming at home, which means literally there's probably 10 minutes of the scene where Cody's like this. I mean, it's ridiculously uncomfortable. We have a big screen TV. I think most people do because the price and everything. So it's like the Wizard of Oz, the Great Wizard of the Emerald City, and it's like it's framed like this. It's this enormous 5-foot head.
I could park a truck in his mouth.
Yeah, and it's like the camera's like here, so he's looking down. It's literally like...
And then he gets all serious and they cut in.
They cut in even closer.
It's like, oh man.
So uncomfortable.
I don't want to see these people.
And all he does is complain. He just complains.
Until he throws his kids under the bus and complains about them.
So we'll get there. Yeah, he throws Janelle's sons.
Literally the only interesting thing that happened this episode.
So
And it wasn't interesting.
I don't want to get into all the politics around COVID because I have my opinion, you have yours. Probably a good chance we don't agree.
We're right, and if you don't agree, you're wrong.
You're wrong. But I just don't want to get into it, but it's like, I really don't want to watch. This is like, imagine whoever is your least favorite political commentary person on TV, imagine Cody now has their job and he's teaching you about COVID. It's like, that's the last thing I want to hear. Anyway, so Janelle's really upset. Janelle's logic is, and I would say this is correct, which is she has 3 children at home and the 2 boys are out of the house. One of them is going to school, Gabe, and then Garrison is an essential worker and is working in construction. So she's like, they're coming back and forth. And then Gabe's thing was, well, if Dad's not coming anyway, then why should I? Why? And Garrison's going out, then why shouldn't I? I mean,
he's clearly really hurt and wants to see his dad. And it's pretty sad to watch.
My thing about it was that I feel like as a parent, I would protect him from going on national TV and saying things, especially a year later, now that we have more information.
For whatever it is, $12,000 an episode, my kid could say whatever they want. Give me the money.
That's really how you do it?
That's how I do it. That's how I roll.
That's such a lie. He protects our son like Superman. Anyway, but what we were referring to about Cody was, so the kids are saying how they think it's unfair. Janelle's daughter is the sanest one, because Janelle's like, I just feel bad asking Dad not to come over. Like, I'm the, whatever. And Janelle's daughter's like, it's not you, it's this pandemic. Like, you're trying to make the right decisions, and I support you. Anyway, Cody goes and tweets on Twitter about how, well, Garrison and Gabe say it's unfair not coming over, but they didn't do anything. They could have. And I was like, I can't believe you're throwing your son's under the bus on Twitter. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised, but it's like very typical, like they said something kind of critical of him, so he's like, I'm going to go to Twitter and tell everyone how selfish they are. And all I'm thinking of as a parent is, I'm pretty sure when you're young, if camera crews were following me around, probably till today, I would say dumb stuff. And I kind of would, I would hope that the parents would kind of protect him a little bit, especially because she makes a comment about Gabe going over to his girlfriend's and he's like, I didn't sign up for this, which I took to mean like maybe he didn't want the fact that he has a girlfriend and discussing his girlfriend on national TV. Like maybe that wasn't part of what he agreed to when he said he'd sit down and anyway. So Cody's decided he gets to go back and forth, but Robin and Christine's kids can't get together. Robin has 5 at home, Christine has 3 at home, Janelle has 3 at home. Right now, Mary has 2 at home because her daughter and her daughter's fiance are both there. It's funny because they keep introducing this information that Mary and Cody are not involved, as though we didn't all see the last season.
Or the last 6.
The last 6 seasons. Like, last season at their counselor, they admitted that they have not been intimate. They do not kiss. They do not date. He does not go to her house. We've known this for at least a year, if not years. Like, the viewers have put it together long before they admitted it, but they've admitted it. So I don't know why they keep acting like it's some big, well, I know why they keep acting like it's some big surprise, because this was filmed prior to that season coming out. And Mary at that point hadn't heard all of Cody's things where he's like, I don't date her. I essentially don't consider her a wife.
So what's your opinion? Is she just in it for the money from the TV show and she'll bounce when it's over? Or is she really as doormatty as she appears?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know either. So anyway, so Cody, so they have this situation where it is finally, so the Dargers, who we saw a couple episodes ago, and I was like, oh, I wonder if they're going to get their own spin-off show. They had a New Yorker article about them this week, so I do wonder if TLC is, they apparently, I did some searching, they were going to have their own TV show, and then it got converted to like a 1-hour documentary special. Maybe they're revisiting that idea. I don't know. You know, it was all like the gossip kind of things. It wasn't like TLC made an official statement.
Nobody needs a cameraman anymore. All you need is your phone.
Oh gosh, just filming from this close away.
Super awesome.
The new word of the season is relationships, specifically family relationships, but they say it so often, it was like, oh my gosh, we get it. So, anyway, Cody goes and sits down Robin's kids, as he refers to them, to tell them about it, and how it is now legal, and then Christine sits down her kids to tell them that it's now legal, and the girls are, I mean, basically the response was like, oh, hey, Dad, that's great. That's great for you. Yeah, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, that level of, like...
We don't care.
Like, yeah, no, I mean, I'm really happy for you kind of level. Then Christine tells them, I want to go back to Utah, and her daughters are like, no. We don't want to move anymore. We're sick of moving. And I totally get it. It is hard enough to move as an adult, but a kid when you have no control over it, and every couple years you have to start over from scratch, has got to be awful. Could you imagine that?
Burning down the house.
Just unbelievable. So they're like, no, we don't want to move. Why do we have to keep moving? Oh, I thought we were going to live at Coyote Pass. Well, I don't know. We don't have it. We could sell it and buy land in Utah. Okay, how is that a better option? How does that move them closer to their dreams? Anyway, so she's like, but then Christine's like, I'm going to talk to Cody, and I'm going to tell him, even if the girls don't want to, that I want to. And I kind of feel like, so I have been on Christine's side with a lot of this, because you listen to the way that her husband, I'm putting husband in quotes, because he's certainly not acting like a husband, talks about her. He said so far this season, he's complained about her every chance he gets on national TV. Like, I kind of feel like when we talk about the sanctity of marriage, I would think not throwing your spouse underneath the bus on national TV has got to fit in there somewhere. He says he doesn't want to be there.
He's got 2 others he likes, so, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to keep getting rid of them. Oh, and then Cody does make the comment that we're in the middle of a pandemic, and that is true, but however he said it, we're in the middle, I thought, oh, you are not in the middle. Not in March. Not in March 2020. But what I thought, but it's like, are we going to go through the pandemic in real time? Like, are we going to every episode? Because it starts out, 2 weeks ago, we had, like, the inklings of the early pandemic. And then last week's episode was, like, March 13th. And this week's, like, March 29th. And I'm like, are we going through this in real time? Because I cannot do that again.
Real time would mean they're with us now, and clearly that's not the case.
Well, in actual timeline speed, how's that? Slightly speed it up. So we're going to do a month every 3 weeks, and it's like, just no, because that's all this was. So that was all of it, was talking about, Yeah, so and then yeah, and that's it. That's it. That's the whole episode. This was all of my notes. This includes stuff. I do have to tell you guys though. Sometimes I check my comments right before I go to bed, and I had a nightmare this week that I was Cody's fourth wife. Now in the dream, the other four wives were there, so I guess technically I was the fifth wife. But you know how dreams work. So in my dream, I was the fifth wife.
Way more interesting than the show.
And my dream was the fourth wife, and we were living in the house that I grew up down the street from. It was this weird house. This family had adopted 13 kids, and the house burned down, and then they rebuilt it. It was like tons of little rooms, and it was like on a hill, so it was like 5 stories tall, but it actually wasn't that big. It was a very bizarre house. It was a very bizarre, everything about that household was kind of bizarre. Anyway, and there was a water slide that went down it. In my dream, not in real life. Anyway, and I was trying to crawl out. And Cody was talking to me the way he talked to Mary. It was like, and all the other wives were yelling at me to like get in line. And I just was like, I've got to get out of here. I've got to escape. I've got to leave. So anyway, that is what watching this show and recapping and reading the comments has done to me.
Nightmares we're getting for you.
For you.
So you don't have to.
No, but I enjoy talking about it with you guys. But this is not. It's like somehow they managed to put even more Cody into the episode than normal, which is, I don't know why they think that that's what we want to hear. And it looks like the preview is kind of like, there's supposed to be this big moment where we discover that Cody and Mary don't talk. But I kind of feel like what viewer has watched the show, especially since the catfishing episode, and does not know that they do not speak. He doesn't like speaking to her. He doesn't talk to her. I guess they think, or Mary thinks it's some big revelation and like they're outing some secret, but we all know. Anyone who's watched the show knows that he doesn't speak to her, he detests her, wants nothing to do with her, and doesn't even try to do the bare minimum. Okay, anyway, bye.